Humanity, on the day of its final effort, is going through its collapse.
You said it. As determined by its name, victory is reducing 10,000 years to ashes in one fell swoop. The world is broken in two. Yet, the point is to rebuild relentlessly and not leave anything to chance or the enrichment of a few. If the law is constituted on the ruins, then everyone counts the same, and therefore very little.
An old man's eyes sees things very confusedly, as though from a distance. To me, it looks as though everything's been scraped together, helter-skelter, as with a rake. Leaves, flowers, drains, stones. But too many deaths. And too much apathy seem to undermine the idea in the long run.
The world is as black as an oven in which some foul bread is baking. A world changed from top to bottom or not at all. This time the dice has been rolled. We've bet the whole pot and nothing less.
Hail the blood-stained page on which we will write the poem of the century.
I'm content. See? With a contentment that's like an extensionless point in my soul. Youth is over. Let's thank history for that. I was a man of the past. And thinking was obsolete. But thinking by itself is relentless. You just have to trust in it. Yes, I can see in the dark. I can see that there's nothing there. These times are utterly worthless.
What sorts of decisions lay ahead of us? Give us your plan for reconstruction. The discussion is wide open.
Leave me alone, young man. I can see in the dark. My eyes can penetrate so far without encountering any obstacles that joy isn't adequate to fill the void that's causing it.
I'm getting impatient. What's the meaning of this, you the anonymous one, boring us stiff with some anxiety or other of yours?
The end. I'll go lie down in the ashes of states. I'll take the old laws with me. I'm leaving. I'm throwing in the towel.
With no explanation, with no critique. Turning your back when the rubble still has to be cleared away.
Beyond victory, there's only defeat. No. Not the sudden reversal kind of defeat. The slow, irreversible kind. The defeat that comes to those who have come to terms with the way things are.
Don't leave.
Like the poet who can't be distracted by the sudden great event from the rhythm in which presence turns up. I'll no longer abide making decisions. I long for immobility. It's clear we haven't changed the world as much as we might claim.
Managing the disaster is not that hard to do, to determine meaning for us all. So how do we begin calming things down?
That will be national reconstruction, re-establishing, overseeing, disarming, unifying, restructuring, rehabilitating the engineers, perhaps.
But won't the world just go back to the way it was before?
Have you anything other to suggest?
No, nothing. Here's where I just don't know. The state is hateful, but anarchy is more so. Politics goes around in circles because neither order which governs it nor disorder which corrupts it can be its aim.
What I was suggesting to you would have only slowed you down. And what right did I have anyway? No one can refute the principle, all that comes into being deserves to perish. I was dreaming of a different form of death, one devised by us. As far as hatred and destruction are concerned, you plunged headlong into the classic art. So I stayed quiet, and I accepted that for one last time, the ritual of revolution must be performed. I mean, classical revolution, at the height of its style. But I've come to re-establish certainty where it's lacking.
Be careful not to promise us happiness. We need the solidity of the present. The chief virtue of these runes is that they're made up of real stones. It's only by picking them up one by one and recording each one's weight that we'll make it over to the other shore.
All things are revealed. The world's bones have been laid bare. You cannot order your power to disappear. In the circumstances that make heroes of you, terror is the easy way out, the clear measure of life's worth. But could you stand going backwards, restoration after all you've been through? Give up your power. Let things run their course without you. The bandits the situation calls for will spring up all by themselves soon enough from this ravaged earth. Start your group over on the basis of this renunciation. Scatter among the people. It's up to us by making an unprecedented decision not to let the knowledge go to waste.
So you're saying that just as victory is achieved, that everything has to start all over again, from square one?
Square one? Is that what you call it? Isn't it precisely from there that we ought to start over? Politics has to be reinvented through what war presents with it, not the other way around.
We need to restore the rule of law.
Restore. There you said it. What a pathetic excuse. What comes afterwards is a repeat of what was there before. If you're not all criminals, you're idiots.
Shut your mouth. We've enough on our plates as it is. Go crawl back under your rock.
Listen to me. Let me speak. We didn't get involved in philosophers' speculations about the ideal state. And no correct politics today can claim to be carrying on the earlier work.
In the face of devastation, the priority is to rebuild. If we have to borrow from the past, we'll have no qualms about it. After an upheaval like this, who could possibly imagine the old state of affairs will revive as though nothing has happened? The world has changed. You have to trust in that. You're looking at things a little too pessimistically. You're far removed from the decision.
Oh, that's an old one. I'm actually suggesting the only possible decision to you. Sure, you're going to create something new. You're going to paint the sun's surface grey.
Exactly who are you? Are you condemning what we've done?
Thanks to you, the first phase of the history of justice has come to an end. That's why you can announce that the second phase of its power is beginning now.
It's anything but power you're proposing. More like giving it up. And for a long time.
Are you going to go on endlessly pursuing such an infantile ambition? The unique greatness of the human race does not lie in power. The featherless biped must get hold of himself against all odds and follow the winding road that leads to the idea that anyone is equal to anyone else, not just in law but in material truth.
Wow, how passionate you are.
You're wrong about that. On the contrary, I'm urging you to give up all passion. The decision you have to make has to be an unemotional one. To anyone who gives in to the power for images, it's incomprehensible. Let go of your obsession with totality. Take hold of the thread of multiplicity.
But how can we prevent everything breaking up and scattering to the winds with this extraordinary act you're suggesting?
Don't think I have an easy answer. Politics is like an event, as unrepresentable as the hard work in the theatre that goes into making the play that we see before us a mysterious, a one-time thing.
But where can we begin something you say has no beginning?
The politics of the future involves giving shape and substance to its own formulation. We're founding a new era based on a tautology that's only natural. Parmenides laid the foundation for philosophy for 2,000 years merely by declaring with requisite clarity that being is and not being is not.
Politics is about making politics exist. So the state should no longer exist.
The event is nothing other than the break in the clouds.
The eclipse of every subject.
But that's the very subject.
And now, century at its close, let's see what you have to say.